Welcome to My Debt-Free Reality. My name is Alvin Jordan, and this is my lovely wife, Andre Jordan.
Hello everyone, welcome to My Debt-Free Reality. We're glad that you're with us. We're the Jordans. We've been debt-free for the past 16 years, and we are passionate just about sharing the message of how you too can become debt-free. It's easier than you think, and we hope you will stay connected and watch with us as we share with you the simplicity of becoming debt-free. We're glad that you could be with us again for another session of My Debt-Free Reality. We are the Jordans. We have been debt-free for the past 16 years. We're taking you on a journey. We're sharing our story with you. We're sharing tools and information with you so that you too can enjoy and experience a debt-free reality. We want to take a little time and just recap where the information we've covered, and we hope that you've been a part of the past episodes and that you're caught up to where we are. But initially, Alvin, kind of talk about the very first or most important thing that would be the first step of becoming debt-free.
First step, like I said, I'd like to reiterate and go back on that, is just the mindset. The mindset has to be in tune with becoming debt-free. It all starts in the mind. It has to start there first. If it doesn't start there, it's not going to happen. Like I said, it has to start with the mindset, and that's what the first thing that we started off with. So the mindset has to be correct in order for everything else to fall into place.
So if you don't change your mind, or if you don't have the mindset of, I want to be debt-free, I know I can get debt-free, if you're still thinking about, it's no big deal, if you're still just talking but you're not putting forth any action, that's not the mindset that it takes to become debt-free. If you set your mind to anything, you can accomplish it. So if you set your mind, if you're married, spouses, both of you on the same page, thinking, partnering together, hey, let's change what we've been doing. I'm sick and tired of it. You're sick and tired of it. We want to do things differently. We want to see the results of debt-free life. All it takes is having that mind. That would be step one. And that's like a critical step, just changing your mind, changing how you think about money, changing how you handle money. Then we moved on and we talked about tracking and getting the statistics and getting the numbers before you can shift and move from where you are to where you want to be. You've got to assess and really see on paper, in black and white, where are we? What do we look like? In order to be able to move to the destination that you want to be at. So we talked about taking the time, you deciding how much time, whether it was probably more than a week is needed, whether it was 2 weeks, whether it was the entire month, taking a 30-day trip, and tracking how you spend your money. Talk about that a little, Alvin.
One thing that I do want to talk about is just going back to and looking at all your habits or the way you actually spend your money. That is very important. But one of the things I want to fall back on, I just thought about, is that something that we kind of didn't talk about, because we actually had you start looking at your habits, and also we started having you looking at the income that was coming in. I kind of want to reiterate a little bit in regards to that, because a lot of people get off track when they start looking at the income that's actually coming in, and sometimes the numbers aren't really correct. One thing I don't want you to get in the habit of, and I talk to a lot of people in regards to in doing the budgeting, they count overtime as part of their monies coming in. I never want you to count. You can count the money, but I don't want you to count it as income coming in. We're going to do something else with that money. We're going to either put that in savings, or we're going to do something else with it, or accelerate getting rid of debt. But the reason I say you don't count it as income, because that can go away at any time. Because the company could announce tomorrow, zero tolerance for overtime. We are cutting out overtime altogether. We cannot afford to pay overtime anymore. So sometimes if you done added that into your budget, it just puts your budget into a whirlwind because you were counting on that money, and now you got to make it up somewhere, or you got to cut somewhere to make up for it. And the next thing I want to bring up that I didn't think about the other week was sometimes we have kids living at home. They have jobs, and they're actually contributing money to the household. There we go again. I don't want you to get accustomed to that money. We'll do something else with that money on down the road, but I don't want you to get accustomed to that money in the sense of making it part of your budget. We'll do other things with that money, because what about when that kid gets ready to move out, get married, or whatever? If you were counting on that money now is gone. And the same thing with elderly care. If you're taking care of your elderly parent and they're getting a check in, and same thing. You know, if you're counting on that money as part of your income of taking care of your parents and stuff like that, same situation.
So for now, what everyone was asked to do was to track your spending. So you should have had your handy dandy notebook, your cell phone, if you were just jotting it in your notes, however you were going to do that, you were supposed to track for a period of time, be it 2 weeks, whether be it 30 days, you were supposed to track. What happens? We talked last time we were together about getting paid on a Friday and only having $20 on a Monday, and really not knowing, well, what just happened here? Where's my money? What just happened? I know I got paid. I know I had this X amount. But what happened? Sometimes without us being diligent to track it, diligent to know what we're doing, and without the specifics, boundaries, having boundaries for our spending, the money just goes. You cash your check, you break a $100 bill, you break a $50 bill, and the money is just gone. And you're like, where's my money? So the exercise that everyone was supposed to do is a very critical step. I hope you did it. I hope you didn't take it lightly and just, overlook it. It is so important. You need facts, figures, numbers. You need a clear picture. You want to paint a clear picture with those numbers of knowing what, we look like and what is going on and what is our right now picture. Because that's going to change, because we're going to shift you into a way to get yourself debt free. But you kind of need that picture. You need to know, how much are we spending on food? How much are we spending on entertainment? Is way more than we realized before we took a look at it being used to eat out, fast food, or dining out, or movies, or tickets to events. All of that is well and good, but you need to know that on purpose, I mean to spend this much on that. Sometimes I've looked at budgets and I've seen lots of money going in the food category because so many other things are tied to it, especially when you go to like a superstore like Costco, Sam's, or even Walmart. There's so many different things now you can buy at the superstores. So a lot of times those items will blow a food budget. So by now, I hope you did your homework. That was a homework assignment. I hope everybody did it. I hope everybody has good facts, figures, numbers, and I hope we're able to move forward tonight. Before we talk about and introduce tonight's topic, I just want to say one thing that I was thinking about, and that is I hope that nobody is fighting. So I wanted to say, don't fight. If you look at statistics, money is like in the top 3 of reasons why couples fight. So we want you partnering. We want you guys working together. We don't want there to be fighting. So don't fight. Talk a little bit about the challenge of working together on finances and not fighting.
The challenge is, as long as you can keep a clear head that first of all, respect the fact that your partner has a voice. You can't be the dominant one in your relationship thinking that whatever you say is how it's going to be and how it's going to go, because you're defeating the whole purpose of coming together. That's not a democracy. That's a dictatorship. And I don't think nobody wants to work with a dictator. So get that mindset. There we go with the mindset. And it's in regards to working together as well as the budget thing. But there we go, just working together. It's called together for a reason, because we're going to work to get out of debt together. It's going to take her ideals and your ideals. It's going to take input from both of you to be effective in this thing. She might think of something in some ways to cut that you didn't think about, and vice versa. So it's going to be vitally important for you guys to be on the same page, working together. Like I say, you're going to come up with different ideas, but you have to be together on this thing. You just can't be like, no, it's going to be my way, or I'm not interested in this. If it's not going to be just my way, do your own thing. No, it's not that. It's just work together in harmony. And you'll see where it works out for you guys.
So if you have been fighting, if I could see a show of hands, I'm sure a lot of people could honestly say, hey, this is an area of contention, and so we want to move away from that, and we want to move to partnership. And like Alvin said, you want unity in the area of finances. You want there to be united togetherness. You don't want to open the door for your finances to be a place and an avenue for strife to come in. Another thing I was thinking about is sometimes as we're working through this, you will realize, or maybe you've already known, who is actually better at handling the finances. And it can be the male or it can be the female. There's no right or wrong, but sometimes we don't want to acknowledge that, hey, just in our working together, I'm noticing you are more gifted, you are better at being the one, we're working on it together, but you're the better at being the one that actually kind of takes the lead a little bit with this. So we have to be willing to see what will work best for us in our household with our finances. Perhaps one of the parties, it's just an area of natural giftedness, and so as you're doing the tracking, as you're working together, there might be some realizations. And so we want to, in an effort to not fight and not to be a place of strife with finances, is to be willing to humble yourself. Be open, be vulnerable, and share, and be willing to allow that person that has the area of giftedness to take the lead. Both people should be involved. Both people should know and understand what we're doing. But it's okay if someone is actually the best person to kind of spearhead the finances in the house. It's absolutely okay. It takes nothing away from you. If someone can manage your dollars really well, that's to your advantage. It's not a disadvantage. So there's no need for either machoism on the male side or criticism on the female side. Just, partner together so the Lord can get in it and bless in the area of finances and in the area of the household. Anything you wanted to add?
I just want to add a little bit into that, because the reason that we're up here today, that we're debt free, is because of my wife, really, because she the one started us in the area of budgeting and going to seminars and stuff like that, and want to learn about budgeting and being debt free. So she started me on the road to partnering with her to actually get it going and get me interested in it. If she would have never brought it up, I don't know where we'd be today. So, but once she pulled me in and that I was all in, she found out that I'm really a numbers person. I love crunching numbers. She's not as interested in of taking it to the levels that I took it to or take it to, with putting it on the computer, creating graphs and charts, and I can tell you what my bills were for the last 5 years. If you want me to pull them up, I can pull them up on the computer. So you're going to have different levels of your expertise in this budgeting thing. So, if that would, makes the other person happy about creating graphs and charts and that kind of thing, and that's not your thing, and that's their thing, so be it. But you're still together on it.
So one thing I thought about while Alvin was sharing was the idea of back to the don't fight, but sometimes maybe you need to come up with a code word, okay? So if somebody is getting tense about a situation, and I want to say too, don't accuse one another, speak in tones that are neutral, in non-confrontational, as Alvin is saying. So as you're talking about money problems, sometimes that's a sensitive place, especially like say if husbands are thinking wives are shopping too much, or you're spending too much money here, or wives are thinking your men are buying too many big toys, or, speak in non-confrontational tones and talk about the issue without pointing fingers and creating a fight with one another, because really we're trying to partner together because we're fixing to change how we live and how we handle money, and we're fixing to move to the blessed place that the Lord wants and has for us. And so don't lose focus of that and begin to kind of point fingers and bicker and fight among one another. That's just non-effective, and that's going to take you to zero, because you're not going to work together. You're going to get upset and mad and not work together. So have a code word, like if somebody's getting too heated or somebody's getting, a little warm, like have a code word, like, okay, well, and use that code word to communicate, let's tone it down, let's table this, let's come back to the table when, we're toned down a little bit. So I really was thinking about how when you start digging into your finances together, a lot of times it's a place that the enemy wants to create disunity, and he wants to create a fight, but you don't have to let that happen, because we're telling you now, don't fight. Both of y'all agree, we're not going to fight about this. We're partnering together to go forward into the plan of God for our lives, into walking in debt freedom. So I wanted to throw that out there. And what we want to talk about tonight specifically is the next step. Okay, you've got the right mindset. You're like, we are doing this. We're united. We're together. You've got your spending log. You should have it. We gave you time. You can also take as much time as you need, but you need those numbers. You need to know what we're doing, what we typically do, and now we need to move forward into what we're going to do. And in order to do that, you're going to need to do some gathering. I'm going to show you a few simple tools that are brought tonight. You need probably, I feel like a calendar. So this came from the Dollar Tree, so you can grab one from the Dollar Tree, the Dollar General, Walmart, anywhere you'd like. Probably a little bit of a notepad to start with. So just a notepad. Alvin has everything on the computer, but to start with, I feel like a notepad, you can erase, you can cross out, and you can work and build as you go. So something like that. Of course, a pen or pencil, just, super easy. I have my cell phone, but you need a calculator for sure. So if you're using your cell phone like me, use that, or just get a calculator also from the Dollar Tree, dollar store for $1. And then you're ready. So kind of gather your tools. That's about all you need initially. And what you're going to do, here's your instructions for this week. You are going to gather all your bills. All your bills. All your bills. Every single item that you see you're spending on your spending log, you're fixing to gather all your bills and obligations. We're looking at monthly. Okay, so we're going to kind of break this down and we're going to talk about it, but we're looking at monthly. And if you have items that you pay annually and you don't pay monthly, or you pay maybe every 6 months, you want to take those and still include them, because you don't want any surprises. You want to divide them by 6 if you pay them every 6 months. If you pay something once a year, you want to divide it by 12. You still want to plan for that, so you still have to include that information. So let's take some time and let's talk about the different categories. This is a big assignment, and we want to talk about it, and then we want you to follow through and do it. Okay, so talk about maybe the first set of categories of bills that they're going to gather. Alvin.
First category is going to be your household bills, and you have to really think about this. You may think you know all of them, and you may know all of them, but the thing about it, sometimes you miss some of them as being household bills. For prime example, I know couples that actually have electric bill, and they'll have a gas bill, but they may forget about the gas bill because you're only thinking about electric. But some people have a gas bill and an electric bill, so there's two bills. You got your water bill, you got your cable bill, you got your internet bill. These are all bills that you have to think of. And if you have them all bundled sometime, still think about all of them. You may have them bundled, which is great for some people. I just prefer sometimes not to get into the bundling thing because I don't feel like I'm saving sometimes when I get into that.
Just throwing in there more household bills, I was thinking about some of us still have a landline. Okay, that's almost unheard of anymore. That's a household bill. Some of us have, we have Netflix. I would still kind of categorize that as a household bill instead of cable. Some people are using like Netflix as their cable alternative. So your energy source, your energy bill, whether in Florida where we are, it's FPL. Your energy bill is a household bill. Anything related to what's going on in the house. I would also consider your security alarm bill a household bill. So anything, think about all the things that it takes to run this household and that are due monthly. If you have mortgages, that is clearly a household bill. So your mortgage is almost at the top of the list in gathering your household bills. So we've kind of listed out probably 7 or 8. Okay, that's a top category because you need those things monthly. Those are definitely pretty much the things we listed will be coming due monthly. Let's shift and talk about maybe the next category of bills that they would encounter.
I think the next major thing we're going to run into that all of us deal with is auto.
Okay.
Because we have to think about our gas that's going into the car. We have to think about maintenance on the car. We have to think about even sometimes where we wash the car. Do we wash it at home? That's going to raise your water bill. Or do we take it somewhere and wash it? Those are all things that you need to think about. Your auto insurance for everybody. We have to think about that. How many cars do we actually have insured? How many cars are in the driveway? And then later on in our budget, we may be thinking about, can we get rid of some of these cars that are in the driveway? We have gotten so in tune to being independent and for convenience, we pay a lot for convenience. So that's something we can talk about later.
Okay, auto makes me think about the hidden things with auto. Oil changes. Annually, all of us are having to buy auto tags. So that's something that happens once a year, but you need to still plan for it. Whatever your auto tag is, you divide it by 12. You need to make sure I'm going to plan for that bill so that when it's due, bam, the money's there for it, I'm good. So all of the things about how many times a year do you change your oil? You want to think about these things. So we're still gathering information, but now you're not just tracking that spending log, you're kind of ready to move forward. You're gathering the actual bills and the obligations, and you're compiling a list. You want to, when it comes to auto, I just had to renew my driver's license. So, that might be technically one that you would stick in there. That one doesn't come around that frequently, but I just had to do it. So it kind of is at the top of my mind. But there's a lot of things that are sneaking in there with the auto. If you need to replace a tire, just a lot of things that come under that category. And as Alvin said, auto insurance, absolutely, for sure. Next, we would probably be looking at food. I think food, and so food is huge. I feel like food takes up a great percentage of many budgets, and it's actually a category that if you're not careful, you actually could be overspending just because you don't think about it. So you do need food, but you kind of need to look at what your spending log told you were spending on food, and you need to look at in proportion to all the dollars coming in the house, is the food category disproportionate? You know, like if there's two of you in the home, do you really need $600 a month in food? I don't know. Even if for a family of four, do you need $600 in food? You might evaluate that. What else is in that category that's hidden? Remember I talked about Sam's, Costco, and Walmart. Big superstores that have like all types of things. Sometimes you're picking up things that technically aren't food, but you're kind of spending them out of your food budget. So we want to look at food a little closely and see, you know, what's going on. Do you want to talk about food at all?
And actually, once we get into the more budgeting part of it, we're actually going to pull that stuff out of there and put it into its own category, really. Because it really needs to be put into its own category, pull that money out of there. But that's something we'll do down the road. The food thing is also, are we going to throw dining in there with the food? Or that's going to be a separate category?
No, that's not food.
So Alvin's bringing up a good point. Your eating out and dining is not really your food category. And that probably is another reason why the food category in different budgets for different individuals can be so large, because you clump it together, because when you eat out, that's considered entertainment. But because you're eating, you still associate it with food, but you don't want to do that. You want to categorize food, meaning I'm going to the grocery store to buy staples and groceries that I'm putting in my pantry, putting in my refrigerator. That is truly food. So that's how you want to look at that. You don't want to consider if you're going out to dinner as food, because that's a separate category. You need to be aware of how much you're spending on food, and then as that separate category, you need to be aware of how much you're spending on entertainment, because sometimes when you think it's of entertainment as food, you think you're not aware until you think it's okay that you're spending, you know, X amount of dollars in food. But once you see, wow, I'm eating out and I'm spending this much, you might want to do something different, because you may want to assign and do something different with those dollars. A lot of times we have wishes and dreams and goals, and once you have the numbers, and that's why that spending log was so important, then you can see, wait, I'm spending $500 a month eating out, and I said I wanted to purchase this or tile this or do this. That's the money right there that I'm spending eating out. So you might want to make changes once you can see in black and white and are aware what is really going on. This is why this is all of this helps you. If you'll do the spending log, it gives you a snapshot. If you'll take the time and gather all the obligations, having the information, black and white figures, the numbers, the statistics, it's going to help you. It's going to help you make the decisions you say you want to make, and not just kind of be responding to what you've been doing. But you're going to now take the director's role, and you're going to begin to direct and instruct and inform and tell your dollars, this is where you're going to go and this is what you're going to do. You're going to stop taking a passive role, and you're going to be in control in directing your dollars to the road to debt freedom. So we're not asking you to do more than that yet. Just gather them all, write down the date the bill is due, the amount that is due each month, and write down if it is a debt, a credit card bill, doctors, dentists, something like that. Write down the entire amount as well. And then we're going to take you a little bit further next time we're together. Thank you so much for being with us. It is our passion and pleasure to help bring the people of God to a place of being debt-free. We want to share our journey and help you experience a debt-free reality. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Hello everyone, thank you for watching. We understand that many of you might have questions and want to ask them. Please don't be shy and don't hesitate. Simply drop us an email, mydebtfreereality@gmail.com. We are happy to respond. Believe me, we love what we do. We love sharing this message of debt freedom with you. We want to answer your questions, mydebtfreereality@gmail.com. We will respond to you. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time.